Comrades, our job here is to make the news funny, but not all things are funny. And one of those things is gender-based violence in South Africa.
South Africa has among the world's worst rates of violence against women. Police data from last year shows that more than 7 women are killed every day.
And it's statistics like this which make you fall off your chair. We're going to be using this clip a lot for when things get heavy.
August is Women's Month in South Africa. It's meant as a celebration of women, especially the crucial role they played in fighting apartheid. But sadly, it's also an annual reminder of how little progress we're making in the fight against GBV.
Politically Aware first tackled GBV in 2018. We went to the total shutdown protests which gripped the nation.
At the time, Cyril Ramaphosa eventually met with the women and said,
"We will discuss it in my office. We are going to make sure that we address each and every issue that you have raised."
But 7 years later,
women continue to battle unacceptable levels of gender-based violence.
it seems like we're still having the same conversation.
Speaking of conversations, it's nearly the end of Women's Month, so us men can reset to default settings.
One drunk man is more intelligent than 3 women with PhDs.
Thank you so much.
Women are up, end of story.
Post-pandemic, the game has changed. As our world moves increasingly online, so has misogyny and violence.
Can't we go back to sharing cat videos? No way is safe.
To understand South Africa's shocking levels of gender-based violence, we need to turn the spotlight onto men.
Me? I did foko.
Well, not you, KG. But many men are facing unique challenges from social and economic pressures, which may be contributing to all the violence.
I got you.
And it doesn't help that we have this kind of content flooding the social media feeds of young men.
I think my sister is her husband's property. Do you regret saying it like that?
I still believe that a woman is given to the man in marriage. That's what I believe.
There's a lot. Comrade, hit me with that clip again.
What does the rise of the so-called manosphere mean for South Africa's gender-based violence epidemic? Could it be making things even worse?
And if it is, what can we do about it? Let's get away.
Do you guys remember this online debate?
Would you rather be stuck in a forest with a man or a bear?
Women everywhere have answered the bear. Probably a bear.
The point is, at least if I'm attacked by a wild animal, people won't ask me what I was wearing.
You get it? If you don't get it, forget about it.
And when women said we'd rather take our chances with a wild animal than a man, we said,
Do you not realize how stupid that shit sounds?
You ain't watched enough nature documentaries, baby.
Go test this theory. Matter of fact, go out into the wild. Let's see what they come back and be able to tell the story about how they hung out with a bear cub and a mom.
Comrade, you can argue all you want, but the bottom line is women say they don't feel safe around us.
And besides, who says women can't fight bears? But let's get back to the topic and the stats.
Looks, not the stats.
In South Africa, 7 women are killed every day. Our femicide rate is 5 times higher than the global average.
Oof. Here's that sinking feeling again. Hit me.
And even our president, who often doesn't have much to say, admits
These women are just not statistics. They have names. By looking away, by discouraging victims from laying charges, by shaming and insulting women for their lifestyle choices or their style of dress, we become complicit in these crimes.
in South Africa, most perpetrators of gender-based violence are known to their victims.
That's right. In South Africa, it's not the boogeyman or strangers lurking behind the bushes.
Although, let's be honest, that too. The good news is the police say GBV stats are down. But the experts say statistics can be a little bit misleading. Because in a country where less than 1 in 9 rapes are reported, stats is just the cover story.
But why don't more survivors come forward?
For one thing, they fear the cops.
Okay, fair. Me too.
Add that to judgment from friends, family, and the public. They're scared that they won't be believed and that they'll be blamed.
And I'm guessing it doesn't help that our politicians say things like this.
Open your books and close your legs.
And remember when the former minister in the presidency responsible for women, Susan Shabangu, said this.
Whilst Karabo came across as very strong internally, she was weak and hence he became a victim of abuse.
And don't forget the time when the deputy president of the Patriotic Alliance, Kenny Gunene, tweeted in 2012 that a drunk woman's pussy is owned by he who got her drunk or the lucky one that finds her drunk. Play the clip. So South Africa is setting all the wrong kinds of records when it comes to GBV. But how did we get here?
There's a lot of different things fueling the crisis, but our history plays a large role.
Pre-94, there was a deliberate attempt by the apartheid government to depend on black labor, particularly on black men, to work away from their homes. So the idea that was established back then was fathers as distant providers. And sadly, the dynamic has actually worsened since 1994. We've gone from just under 50% of kids living in homes without dads to now, more than 2/3 of kids living in homes without their biological dads.
So basically, blame it on apartheid.
Wow, shocker. So now we know there's not only a GBV epidemic in South Africa, but it's likely way worse than the numbers tell us. But what happens when we add social media fuel to the fire?
Manosphere. Manosphere.
The Manosphere.
Manosphere.
The Manosphere.
KG, have you heard of this Manosphere thing?
Well, it's just a sphere where the Manos, the Manos get together and they discuss important things. It's like back in the day when we used to sit around the fire and we sing love songs. Even Joe Rogan has a show. It's called Sphere Factor.
Fear Factor has been known for dreaming up some of the most outrageous and insane stunts you could possibly imagine.
I'm sorry to burst your bubble or sphere, but unfortunately, entering the Manosphere is a little bit like entering the Matrix.
The Manosphere is a term for a growing community globally of men who are basically emphasizing harmful messages about manhood online.
Right now, you're feeling a bit like Alice, tumbling down the rabbit hole.
And the further you go down the rabbit hole, the darker it gets.
Recruiting particularly young men into the conversations that start off quite innocently, but then eventually start to become quite sexist, quite misogynist.
The Manosphere literally uses the Matrix as a reference. Taking the red pill is supposedly waking up to the reality that a world with equal rights for women comes at the expense of men's rights. And the real victim in today's world are men.
No. The Manosphere has become a world of its own with a whole new vocabulary. Here to teach us about it, Mevrouw Raquel.
A is for alpha, B is for bros, C is for coaching, you know how it goes. Now you know your ABCs, the ABCs of misogyny.
Wow, Mevrouw Raquel is such a dope teacher, y'all.
One of the leading international voices in the Manosphere is Andrew Tate.
So when I see the Diddy things, a slave is like, he's a disgusting piece of shit, he's a disgusting piece of shit. I sit there and go, wait, I don't know Diddy, never spoken to him.
I had a woman, I would decide not to cheat because I decide. However, I would not see my infidelity as nearly anywhere near even 1% as disgusting as female.
What a guy. And back in March, he tweeted, never trust South African women.
Vele, we don't trust them. Sorry, Queens.
Another one is Jordan Peterson.
And so, one of the things I tell young men, and young women as well, is that you should be a monster.
But it's not just women who come under attack in the Manosphere. It's also any men who don't fit into outdated male stereotypes.
It's that's what it is. It's these weak men, bitchy, weak men.
But here in South Africa, we have our own local flavor of the Manosphere brewing, thanks to influential podcasters, and it's very not lekker, my brew.
I'm telling you, man, there's gotta be something wrong with her. Maybe a Gucci smells or something, bro.
Wow, McG's adding incels to injury.
And even when some sense is spoken on these shows,
women want you before your things.
The comments kill the mood. In March 2025, Netflix released the show Adolescence, showing how young boys are being drawn into the Manosphere, and according to social media expert Emma Sadlier, South Africa is no exception.
Kids were creating WhatsApp channels and within an hour or two having 20, 30, 40,000 followers on a WhatsApp channel, all completely anonymous, and they were all variations of the term shade room, where people could anonymously submit the most horrific information. So saying that girls had a body count higher than their age, naming girls who they said had abortions, had STIs, had AIDS, and the sheer scale of the content was something I've never seen before. Just on one of the channels that I was following on the first day of all of this going down, I probably saw 1,000 different girls being named and shamed.
Damn, that's the darkest shade throwing I've ever heard of.
Research shows that YouTube's algorithm started serving manosphere content unprompted to teen accounts within 30 minutes of them being set up.
2/3 or even more actually of young men go online for healthy reasons, to find out about relationships, about love, about romance, to learn how to eat healthy or to get fit, to find connection, to find community. Boys, for example, might go online to learn about exercises or gym routines.
I'm going to help you get bigger legs.
And embed in those messages something about, well, you need to be strong in order to make sure that you can control girls.
You've got to watch out for the disrespectful woman who tries to put you down. They don't respect you. They don't look up at you.
That's like when you go to Woolies for chicken schnitzel, eh? And then the next thing you've got speckled eggs, cotton candy grapes.
Don't forget the Swiss rolls.
Bro, you got chuckles, salami sticks, coffee muffins.
Millionaire shortbread.
Yo, I'm gonna die fat.
The pod bros aren't just running their mouths, they're getting paid for it too.
Mind Rush is our extreme, all-day focus, advanced stimulant nootropic formula.
Or from our sponsor. Folks, the American dream is under attack.
Joe Rogan is signing a new deal valued at up to $250 million.
The more engagement, the more the algorithm serves up your content, and the more dollars they and big tech companies make.
Show me the money!
Unfortunately, the financial incentives for both creators and the platforms is crushing moderate voices and driving polarization, both online and offline. And while tech companies like Meta profit from all this hate, here's what it's like being a woman and trying to actually get accountability for it.
I was verbally attacked online by my Instagram, by my Facebook, and I reported them. I was told that it wasn't a violation of the community standards. Now, some of these attacks stated you should be raped and murdered.
These companies know how bad the platforms are for the mental health, particularly of girls. Roughly how the business model for the youngsters works is, let's show them emo stuff. Let's get them sadder. The sadder they are, the more time they spend online. The more time they spend online, the sadder they are. The sadder they are, the more time they spend online, the more money we make. They are interested in their bottom line.
Comrades, surely you don't believe Andrew Tate cares about you. Do they believe what they say, or is just all a grift?
Well, Andrew Tate has a paid online course called Hustlers University.
There's a crypto campus, there's a stock campus, there's an e-commerce campus, there's an AI campus.
Hold on tight, we're about to get rich.
Nakia, you know what? That's a hustle.
But we care about you. So, like, share, and subscribe.
Do you think we make these jokes for free? We want you to click like and subscribe so we can make more money. Or are you waiting for us to say some nasty things about women before you can subscribe? Okay. Women are...
But seriously, unfortunately, the manosphere spills offline and has real-world consequences.
A key problem with men's engagement in the manosphere is that it exacerbates social disconnection. It really breaks down relationships in the real world.
I often think of image-based violence as an extension of gender-based violence. Revenge pornography, you break up and that content gets circulated.
Congratulations, comrades. You ruined nudes for everyone. Now we can't get nudes anymore because you can't be trusted after a relationship. At best, if you're lucky, you get a view once without a face. Because now you're going to send it all over the internet. You are problematic. Now we're stuck with nudes without a face. You ruined it, man. Okay, Zoe. So we have online and offline GBV that's out of control. What is the government doing about it?
In January 2022, President Ramaphosa signed 3 key pieces of legislation to combat gender-based violence into law.
Oh, you mean laws that say it's illegal to abuse and kill? Finally.
I know, right?
What about all the online stuff?
We do have laws that protect against cyberbullying, revenge porn, and a law to combat online hate crimes and hate speech. But these might not go far enough. In the wake of MacG's comments, there has been a widespread call for better regulation of online content like podcasts.
These are huge platforms with huge following. They rival our radio stations, they rival the viewership of our television stations. And it's important that when people have such platforms, they're able to use them responsibly.
There's a debate raging about, on the one hand, regulating to keep the online world safe for all, versus, on the other, protecting freedom of speech. Here's what Samkelo Mokine from the Freedom of Expression Institute told us.
Broadcasting is very important for underpinning freedom of expression and freedom of the media. Traditionally, media like television, radio, and newspapers have been regulated to ensure that harm does not come to the public or people that they are talking about or writing about or broadcasting about. So podcasts that reach thousands of people should be no exception. There must be a responsibility on the podcaster to ensure that no harm comes to people in the audience or people that they're talking about.
Well, as long as we don't get regulated, I'm good with that.
While regulation is needed to start creating safer online spaces, simply silencing the manosphere is not going to work. Besides, some of the concerns of the manosphere are grounded in reality.
Which one? Just be crazy?
No, what I'm really talking about is that in South Africa, men are told they must provide, but the economy makes this impossible for most. That's not women stealing jobs. That's a failing system.
I just will not date a broke guy.
What if you have a feeling for a broke guy?
I will ignore it.
So blame it on apartheid, capitalism, and patriarchy?
Wow. Shocker.
Yep, and the consequences of all that pressure are serious. South Africa has the third highest suicide rate in Africa after Lesotho and Eswatini, with men 4 to 5 times more likely to take their own lives. And a study found that South African men are, on average, 7 times more likely to be murdered than women.
So who's killing the men?
Bears!
I do think that much of the violence that men uses comes from a place of trauma that's not been processed. And again, I do think that we neglect providing men safe spaces where they can process that trauma because we often see that as investment in men's trauma at the expense of improving women's rights.
And research shows that the other concerns of the manosphere, like male loneliness and poorer educational outcomes, are also real and deserve more attention from the youngest age.
I think if we see the need to respond to men's poor mental health outcomes, to men's trauma as a component of a broader set of gender justice goals, that would help a lot, instead of thinking that we have to drop the one in order to give attention to the other.
Comrades, every Women's Month we trend hashtag say her name, hashtag stop GBV, and every time there's a victim, we get a new hashtag. It trends for a while and then it disappears until a new high-profile case arrives. But misogyny, it doesn't log off. It doesn't take a month off. It lives in the algorithm and it's only making things worse.
So we have to start doing a couple of things. We need to start having a discussion on whether the internet is a free-for-all, or should there be some guardrails? And how do we hold the tech platforms accountable for hosting all this hate?
And we men need to introspect. We need to hold other men who are offensive, misogynistic, and who perpetuate rape culture to account.
And all of us need to teach boys how to grow up to be better men. Let's create a safe space for boys and men to pull up a chair and share their feelings.
As long as it's not this chair. That's all from us this week, comrades. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. For more resources and support, check out the description. Until next time, stay away. And patriarchy, yo. The Bantu education crept in there. Yo, the Bantu education crept in unannounced, though. It showed, bruh. Yo, it showed. I went to a cheap school.